moves pretty fast. Life 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 moves pretty fast.
Hey,
life moves pretty fast.
We're back in Line of Truth. I'm your host, Reuben. Here we go. Life moves pretty fast. Gotta move this dirty cash. Gonna flick this cookie's ass as I watch her shake that ass. And I know I seem crass when I say it won't last. But as I go on past, you know,
life moves pretty fast.
Keep on going, don't let life pass me by. But I'm still staying grounded, but I'm still getting high. Yo, and the life that I'm making, no dreams are forsaken. It's California living, it's a business vacation. Running, I'm running, I'm running. Yo, back in Line of Truth. I'm running the dope, and I'm running the dope. Yo, running the dope. Yeah, I'm running the dope, and I'm running. Coming back in the great episode, trying to keep you up daily. There's time in it to go. It's a new song on the internet. Running, and I'm 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 running. Yo, here it comes back in. Life moves pretty fast. All you have to do is ask. Just watch the people pass as they end up no one's ass. And it seems it's only crash, but it's only 'cause it's cash. Seem every bit, but I don't know if it's mad. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm gonna end it right there. I don't want to keep going for 3 minutes. You guys go check it out yourself whenever you want to check it out. That song is called Running, or Running the Dope. It's funny because I played that song for my kid. Let's see how long I wear my glasses for, because I can actually see myself on the screen, which sometimes is never a good thing, man. Anyways, and I played it for my son. He's like, 18, and he's like, pause it. It's funny to hear you talk like that, because I'm not running dope, you know what I mean, and I don't have any dirty cash, it's what they call dirty hands, clean cash, clean money, dirty hands, clean money. That's more our style. But yeah, watch you shake that ass, and not even the realm of what I do, so I'm all, dude, it's a song, it's a lot of times I write these music, nothing's for me, you know what I mean? I don't think that like, oh, you hear my voice on that? Man, that's so good. I'm probably the best rapper alive. I'm always like, hey, this is perfect. It says cookies on there, and Burner is actually looking for some beats, and kind of ties in line with maybe Burner from Cookies might do. So I hit up Stidgy and shared some stuff, but we'll see. You never know. They probably just like, fuck that dude, which is totally understandable, Anyways, I got a couple topics here. A line in the truth. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Life is crazy. Adults are always bad. I mean, accountability is a hard thing in life, but we'll get to that. I don't want to jump right into some bullshit. But I had a thought the other day. How about this? Does this make sense? I'm just like spitballing, but jail farts. Like in my house, like at night, I'm laying in bed, about sleeping. And sometimes you're about to bust one. It's like, you know what I mean? Because it's tight beehole. You know what I mean? So like, but imagine like in prison, you wouldn't want that, because someone like down the wild and all of a sudden they hear, be like, oh, you hear that squeaky? I think in prison you almost act like a girl on a date at all times, act like you don't fart, and just constantly, people aren't looking out for each other. Like, man, is there a place where I can go pass gas so I don't, give a mating call or something? I'm just trying to stay away. I don't want people to know that I'm tired. I imagine everybody's farting just constantly just trying to, like, they spread their cheeks. I don't know. I'm just be scared of farting. You know what I mean? In jail, I'm just saying. You know what I mean? When my meal came out, it'd be beans. I'd be like, what the fuck, dude? No, I ain't eating the beans. I just thought, what I mean? I don't know. Maybe people know more than me. I'm spitballing. I'm not very informative when it comes to this thing. I just thought, like, man, at home in the outside world, you can go ahead and just brrr, like type baritone or something. You know what I mean? But I imagine if you don't want to do that in captivity. I mean, that's not good. So I don't know. Body parts are crazy shooting things out. Matter of fact, I was watching video the other day. I don't actually didn't see the quiet video of it. I looked it up. I couldn't find one. But anyway, so you get the point. What I'm going to lead to is women shooting ping pong balls out of their. I saw a menu of things they can shoot out of their vajayjays, and ping pong ball wasn't even the worst thing. Goldfish. One said blades. I think it's razor. I think they get like a razor blade and they put it inside, and then they, I don't know. So maybe they start their period. Self-abortion kit. I don't know. I'm not saying that's not a good idea, but the ping pong ball, I don't know. Maybe put it up there, and 5 months later, your kid's a, expert soccer player. I have no idea. It's just saw them shooting the ping pong balls out. I don't know. Everybody has a different entertainment value of what it is. Like maybe, obviously, I think it was $8. I'm gonna watch it for $8, right? But and obviously it wasn't like down Laguna Beach. They weren't doing it there. I mean, it might have been overseas somewhere. But that's crazy. Or the Donkey Show. Not gonna go watch that. People are like, let's go watch. No, that does not sound fun at all. Like none of that. I mean, it's like I want to go watch a snuff film. No, I don't want to go watch. That's not my style. Be your own. But man. The ping pong, bing, bing. Although, I would say, under discreet censorship, this could be a possible professional sport. Obviously the women have to choose to do it on their own, and have to be, ping pong balls would have to be, cleaned. But distance, accuracy, you think cornhole is fun now? Forget cornhole. How about V-hole? Let's get this going on. Ping, beer pong, shooting out from the vagina only, Or men versus women. The women shoot it out the vagina with the ping pong. The dude gets it and hits it with his penis. And then it's kind of like a wiffle ball game where distance and where it goes, and if it catches it midair with someone else's vagina, then, team versus team. But it's, like I said, only be offenses. The other dude could do it too. Back to gel farts, But how the woman do it? Boobies. That's cheating, though. That's not fair. Come on. It's a weighted bat. Some of these ladies, that's not fair. It's a double barrel. You can't use it. When I guess put one underneath the arm and swing the other one, that makes sense. Okay, that's fair. Well, we got some guys with boobies. Not that big, though. That's not fair. But I guess we can get some big swingers, too, huh? I'm putting the works of this. Okay, now it all makes sense. Vagina, penis, baseball. Wraps it all up. Perfect. That's what we're doing. That's what's going to happen. Okay. Speaking of ping pong, vagina, baseball, Travis Kelce dating Taylor Swift. Hell, how about that? Man, what a perfect marketing move for everybody. Taylor Swift fans are not knowing anything about football. Now they're going to cross over. Perfect. This is, man. Relationship aside, they can probably, keep it up or split up or who knows. I'm really interested in his brothers. His brother has a wife who's like, I think she was like 6'4", 6'5". I don't know. She's tall and she's pretty. But those two, I want to see what they make later as a professional athlete. Those two people are humongous, and I think she plays sports too. But yeah, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. What a great marketing play. The whole thing. And I've already thought about this, if I'm for it or against it. Not that my opinion matters, but as long as, I think everybody will agree with me on this, as long as we don't have to see Patrick Mahomes' wife anymore and them, we're all aboard. Please, like, you talk about a situation of deflecting, that is 100% might be going on. Like, hey, please look at these two couples instead of this other guy and his brother who just sexually harassed somebody at a restaurant and getting sued. So yeah. Crazy things happen. I'm just said, go for it, Swiftie. I heard also, I was reading about some lady got kicked off of a plane because of a farting dog. Speaking of farts, I'm sick of people bringing their animals and shit. I'm sick of people being inconvenienced to society at all times voluntarily. You know what I mean? It goes for like stupid vehicles, people that, like I said, bring their animals everywhere, you know, and just situations that you shouldn't do voluntarily. Like when people have kids, sometimes you have to bring your kids because it's weird situation. You're a parent and you want to bring your kids, whatever it is. I mean, cool. That is understandable. Don't want to see someone carrying their dog everywhere. Every time I go to a school, people are just having their dogs run wild, peeing and pooping, and you know, like, no, my dog doesn't bite anybody. Hell no, it doesn't bite anybody. It's just got canine teeth. Why would it bite anybody? It's got just canine teeth. You know what I mean? The funny thing is, you know, Joe Biden's dog's biting everybody. It'd be like 11 people. Man, if Joe Biden's dog bites you once, it's the dog's fault. If Joe Biden's dog bites you 11 times, maybe you're an asshole. I mean, who's going to play with the dog? Like, when the people go and kiss and the dog bites their face, I want to see the dog injuries. Like, is it serious injuries? Is it playful? Like, I don't know. But man, back to dog on a plane farting, man. Don't bring your dumbass dog anywhere. Don't want to see it. You know, I was, where was I at? I was at, I don't know. Everybody's bringing their dogs everywhere. Man, I mean, nice people too. And nice dogs. But it's just constantly everywhere. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to bring all their animals and everything. I don't know. Just like if it's like tied to a video game where, you know, every video game, this guy, Nightwalk, he has a wolf. And this guy, you know, Coco Beware, he has a parrot. You know, like, there's been a video game. There's one where they all have, another video game, they all got animals. It's like, dude, it's your spirit animal. Just get in and out of public, you know? Don't be an inconvenience to people, you know? Just like saw that the other day, like parking and cart knocks. I love the cart knock guy. Put your shopping cart away, dude. Stop being an inconvenience to society. You know what I mean? Accountability is very, very, you know, very lacking. And it's funny too, a lot of times when people in life, they think they can do stuff and people won't like call them out on it. Like me, I'm always worried about accountability. And I would say, like, I can't lie because I talk so much. Eventually I'll catch myself in a lie unless I'm really good at lying. And then, but I don't have anything to lie about. So I don't lie. It makes it easy. I might have some facts that are off a little bit, but then I'll be like, what? Oh, sweet. I'll get it right. But, you know what I mean? I have no personal agenda. It's kind of, you know, it's inauthentic and it's, obviously not genuine, kind of the same thing, but it's gross. I see it all the time. There was a situation, I'm gonna talk about a couple coaching situations I've seen in time. One time I was coach on a team and this guy, he didn't really care where his son was at first. He just wanted him to be the star of the team, and that was it. So he tried him at like one position, and then running back, but he didn't like to get hit at the time. He was very new to the game. He was kind of scared. But I think it was more down to because of how the dad treated the kid. So they put him at quarterback, you know, and because he knew the game and he was having fun, so they put him at quarterback. And then, but on the team, they had this kid who was like, he was a second grader. It was like a kindergarten, first grade, and second grade football team. It was young kids. So the second grader, though, was faster than every kid on the team all the way up to like sixth grade. This kid was like super fast, and he had his best friend on the team, and they would just catch the ball all the time. They were quite amazing for a youth football team. So when you get down to like elementary school, you're kind of just getting fundamentals and getting kids to like the game, and then as they build up to junior high, and then they get to find what positions they want to play and what they're interested in putting their effort and energy into. You know, these are 7th and 8th grade coaches. You're not going to mold and create, oh, look, I made a running back. No. Just let the kids play where they want to play, and the best player at that position wins. Plain and simple. And then, but try to play as many people as possible. You want them to love the game. No one cares if you were undefeated in 7th grade. And if you made a shirt that said that your 7th and 8th grade football team was undefeated, choke yourself with it, please. But yeah, so anyways, back to the story. This kid was obviously the best kid on the team, and he should have been the quarterback. But the coach said, no, my kid at quarterback, and he kept fumbling the snaps. He didn't know what right and left was, so he kept mixing it up, and it was kind of difficult, but I was just assistant, and I just got there. And I didn't even know there was a football team before that. I was like, oh, there's football? Hell yeah, I'll sign my kid up. They're like, hey, come coach. I'm like, okay, I'll be an assistant coach, which means like carry the bag, mainly. That's it. I had no control over anything, except for watching and learning. So it was like game 3, 2, or maybe it was game 2. It was real early, but already getting whooped up a little bit by these. It's not really working out, but it's new, so we're learning. So we'll make excuses. And the dad shows up to practice with this kid, and he has a glove on. I'm like, wearing a glove today? He's all, I think he broke his hand. I'm all, oh, so let's put Ian at quarterback. Ian was the best kid on the team. Shouldn't have said his name, but he's an adult now. So, like, no. I'm just going to keep him at quarterback, and, the other kid's not going to play quarterback. Well, but he's broke his hand. I think he can do it. I'm like, okay. So, and then, sure enough, it was like 1 or 2 plays. The kid couldn't get the snap because his hand was broken. It wasn't broken. It was severely hurt. So I said, put the other kid in now, finally. But the only problem is, once the other kid would go in at quarterback, it'd be like, oh yeah, this kid's the best kid. This is what we should be doing. And so they didn't want to put him in, It's plain and simple. It was kind of funny just watching it as a volunteer assistant, And so instead, the coach said, no, put your son at quarterback. And my son can take the snaps and hand off. He knows right and left, knows all the plays. But the other kid was, I think 2 years older and, had more experience at the position. So, but like, no, pure quarterbacks. My kid played quarterback and handed the ball off, and they did halfway decent, But the other team was really good. We barely lost, I think, by like a last-second touchdown. But it was quite funny to see the lack of accountability and the efforts of a coach's personal agenda trying to put the kid in front of the other kid in player situations. And I've coached for over a decade, and I had my kid play quarterback. Hey, right on top of it. Hey, so I'm quite aware of the mixes and matches. But there's a couple rules. I'm going to use this as my son's. They have a contract, student, athlete, parent, signature. It says code of conduct. This is how most teams, I think all teams work. So I'm going to read off a couple things. Has something to do with like class work. Yeah, obviously. Horseplay and harassment, that. Okay. This is basically when it comes down to sports, and especially when it comes to like leadership positions, captains, starters, quarterback, whatever it might be, catcher of a team, the center forward for a soccer team, the setter for a volleyball team. You really want them to be able to check all these boxes without any problems, right? Show up to all team events, because a no-show, no-call equals no play. So basically, if the kid doesn't show up to a practice or a game or a team event, like a camp, like if they have a camp and the kid doesn't show up to the camp, you're not on the team. That's part of the event, if ever miss a practice, only the parent or guardian is the only one who can excuse the missing practice. So, like, the kid just says he doesn't want to go to practice and ditches, hangs out with his girlfriend or something like that. He can't say, hey, man, I had to go somewhere. No, the parent has to make the excuse. He has to be in contact with the parent, because you're supposed to be at the school event sport. So don't miss any practices, which are, team events. Will show up to practice even if injured. Get treatment at lunch or on your own time. Do not during practice time. So basically says right there, hey, if you need to get wrapped up, don't do it after school, because that's when practice is. And if you show up late to practice, back over here, don't expect to play, which probably is another rule. But anyways, yeah. And if you're injured, you still show up to the camp. You still show up to practice to watch. I always tell my kids, watching is learning. Plain and simple. It's pretty basic. Man, my hair is jacked. I need to get a haircut. I might shave my head. Who knows? Anyways, watching is learning, because you want to be part of the team also. But Obviously, if you broke your back or, your head's hanging off and you can't get to practice, yeah. But if the doctor says that you do not have an injury, and then the school physician, I think it is, says that you just have a boo-boo, you definitely have to show up to practice. And if you miss like 2 weeks of practice in camps, in games, and 7-on-7s, you're off the team, especially my team. When I coached, I've had many kids, parents say, hey, I want to try my kid at quarterback. I say, oh, cool, yeah, I'll try him at quarterback. Yeah, there's a couple keys, though. On time, first guy in line, work his ass off, positive, show up to every practice. Let's go. And then go out there and he can do a couple things. Sweet, we got a couple quarterbacks. Why not try a bunch of people? And have more than one. If you have the players and the accountability. That's what it comes down to, right? So, but also you got to be smart. Like, is it the kid's fault or is it the parent's fault? But also, you can't be upset because the parent, you don't get along with parent. Which goes back to another story I told. There was a high school football team. They had this kid. He was a man amongst boys. Division I, I think like a 4 or 5 star recruit. Definitely going to a famous, probably playing NFL next year and the year after that. Amazing player, championships, all the great stuff, right? His dad's very, very stern, open man. I don't know what to tell you. Some people love him, some people hate him. But it doesn't matter what your opinion as a coach, what you think about that coach, that parent. Especially what happens is a lot of times you kids in sports and you end up coaching teams. Like, I've coached a team and beat other teams, and those coaches, since I beat them, will never like me. Like, I went to their field and they had 30 players and we show up with 16 and then we smashed their football team. They are butthurt for life. Especially when they think that you're, oh, these guys will never beat us. And then you show up and they didn't know you were going to show up. Like, that's Reuben. And then I whoop them. They're like, oh, I fucking hate that guy. So yeah, accountability is really important. You ain't showing up. You're showing up late. After school, don't go to the person. You got to go to practice. You got to do it on lunch or your own time. So let's keep on going. If you receive injury, 3 unexcused missed team events is automatic removal from the team. 3. So if you miss practice, game, camps, name it. 3 events and you're removed from the team. Win with honor, lose with dignity. Demonstrate excellent sportsmanship with teammates, coaches, and all staff. Respect the coaches, opponents, officials, educators. So that's another thing too. I've had kids, because of their parenting, I don't want to blame kids because kids are a reflection of their parents. 100%. Kids are a reflection of their parents. The way the kid acts is because of the parents. 100%. I didn't get back to the story. Rewind part. So anyways, major great athlete, football player. He plays running back. Destroys everybody. He's going to college. They're at the championship game. The coach, I think, had an indifference opinion about the player's dad, but didn't matter. I believe the kid was a very hardworking kid. He's a little buff and working practice and running track, doing all this right stuff. As far as I know, I've never heard anything otherwise. And as soon as I think when I go out there, when I've seen him growing up as a kid, I think he always worked hard too. I don't have any stories about that kid being lazy at all. So when you're on the field, that's what it's about. You're deserving it. You're on time, getting your spots. Championship game, all you have to do is give him the ball, let him win. Nope. The coach instead had a sophomore quarterback. He's like, I'm going to try to make him win. Then his meanest quarterback are going to keep on carrying. They're not going to get no attention to that guy. And they lost. It looked like a sophomore quarterback. Actually the quarterback was the kid I talked about earlier. Not the kid that wouldn't play quarterback. It was a kid I said should play quarterback, and he should play quarterback. He ended up being quarterback for his high school team, just like I said he should be when he was in 2nd grade. But the dad didn't want him to play quarterback. But now, I said, high school football, the coach didn't like the parent, The running back didn't get the ball as many times as he should have, and the team didn't win. It would have won if they gave the ball to that star stud player who was proven. I think there was even like video, like it was a live game, live game. You can hear the dad and even parents just say, give the ball to the guy, let him run the ball. Who took you to the dance? Excuse me. But it was a quite embarrassing moment for, I would say, coaching, because you can see the bias of a coach not liking a parent, even though it's irrelevant. We don't care. So you gotta know what you're gonna do. So, no swearing. That's another thing. See, I got this piece of paper here that says no swearing. There you go. So yeah, and that's another thing I said. Back to what the rules of accountability on the field and coaches, and if you're in the game and you're getting personal fouls, like grabbing the guy and slamming him after practice, or like we score a touchdown and you do a block in the back, over and over again. Like if you're causing penalties, which are not okay in the game, and when you're doing unsportsmanlike penalties, I think they add up in some of these events where you're not allowed to play because you got too many unsportsmanlike penalties. You're hurting the team, and it's very selfish. Also, doesn't follow the rules of the code of conduct. So I'm a rules of code of conduct kind of guy. So if we have rules, let's follow them, and then I'm going to hold you accountable to those rules. Accountability, it's real basic, So my kid and all my kids, that's the number one thing. So my oldest, I always just joke around like how to be the best employee at work. Show up, do your job. If you just show up on time and do your job, you're like the best employee. Because most people, they can't follow the code of conduct. Like they don't show up, they're late, and when they get there, they do everything possible to avoid anything working out. And when they don't get the attention, they cry and they whine and say, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. Injuries or whatever it might be, or a meltdown. So what are you going to do, Yeah, I love it. It says, come to practices. So like I said, it's very weird when you're coaching. I've seen a lot of times, especially this is a funny thing with youth football. I don't think I've ever seen it. I've seen it once, but coach always trying to play quarterback for the team. It's like, dude, first of all, you're a grown adult. The liability of you running around out there is not okay. And let the kid do the job, not you. So you hear all the time that some stupid cosplay football playing adult who's paid to be a coach. I said, if you are not a 10-year successful football coach, or if you're not a 4-year successful football coach, then you're not a coach. And if you haven't had any opportunities to be any successful, you're not winning. You're not actually to that professional level. You're not a college coach or not like that. You're the adult in the room that had the opportunity. So one time I was a coach for elementary school, my very worst team I ever coached. Point why we lost was 2 reasons. I did not put enough time in. I was late because I wasn't the head coach. I was just a filler-in coach. They were coaching a team. I was just helping out with the offense. So I totally did not put enough time in that team, and they lost all the time. And the kids kept getting in trouble, beating up girls. They were destroying the bathroom. Like every week I had to set a whole new offense in because the other guys couldn't show up. The grades, it was like I said, it was the craziest thing I've seen. But I'll take all the blame since I didn't put any time. But the reason why I was coach over there because they didn't have a coach. And then there was just a teacher who worked at the school, and he never played football in his life, or I don't think he ever played any sports except for like soccer at age 10. And then he was the football coach. I don't think he was even into football. He just happened to be, the male at the school. So he called me up because I was coaching. He's like, hey, can you help out? I was like, oh yeah. And all that time I was coaching that team and another team and working out of town. I was just doing way too much stuff. So I overstretched myself. But point being is, they just hired some dude because my friend knew some dude. So like, I was the coach of the team. That happens all the time. All the schools. My kid had, at the Tarpey Elementary School, they hired some dad. He was terrible. Fired, banned from Close Unified now. Kids got injured. They put these like kids in tackling drills, and it would be kid after kid after kid getting injured because the guy didn't know what he was doing and separating him for like 20 yards out and like run towards each other. Concussion. So yeah, he ended up getting a couple kids with concussions in games, practices. Eventually, they're like, hey, we're going to have to release you because it seems like you don't know what you're doing. And so it happens all the time. But yeah, these coaches go in there and they get the wrist coaches and they have their arms and they're painted like they're a NFL coach. And it's like, dude, don't even do any of that. Like, the kid can just come to the sideline and say blue. If you don't got the coach, the guy doesn't have a wrist coach, you have a piece of paper to say 4. Like, why are you turning it into like more than it is? It's hilarious watching it. But the behavior is gross. You can see him on video all the time. You can see how emotion is hard to mask. So if you're on the sideline and you like a player, when something good comes up, you're like, yeah, and then if something good someone else does that you don't like, and that guy does something good, you're like, cool. We're all guilty of it. But if you're a coach and I watch you do that, and everyone on the sidelines like, hey, why is that coach being a dick to that kid? I'm like, he's a dick. So maybe he shouldn't be out there. He's just an assistant coach. What is this guy doing? And he's not, back to what I was saying, these are just adults. Just adults hired in this position and aren't doing a very good job. So I always think, what counts? Is my hair falling down? Oh, my hair falling down. Oh my God. No, okay. Anyways, yeah, my hair's a mess. Everything's a mess. Yeah. Just gross. Accountability, rules. I always talk about football is bigger than the game until it comes down to those things. So those accountability moments, and obviously if we're talking about a kid who has a lot of personal family problems and issues, man, you got to be out there to help the kid, right? The players, 100%. But if the family is like a really rich family or maintained, everybody's in the picture, both parents are showing up to practices and games, like, okay, the kid's just lazy. And why is he lazy? So like, it's just accountability, character matters. I said all the schools talk about this character. And here's another thing too, I hear coaches say, when I played high school football, I wanted to be a running back, but they didn't let me play running back ever. That's all I wanted to do was be a running back. They made me a linebacker. So now I'm going to take that out on somebody else because my childhood was crushed. I'm going to make sure some other kid's childhood is not an opportunity either. Plain and simple. Let the kids do what they want to do. Let them play where they want to play. And if they're not good enough to play that position they're trying out for, then they're not the number one guy. If they say they don't want to play a position, don't put them in that position. Because one, they're going to get hurt, right? If you don't play the game all in, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. And if a kid gets hurt constantly, with actually no broken bones and no blood, it's a sign. Doesn't want to play. You talk to the parents be like, yeah, I've always wanted my kid to play football. None other kids played football, so this is my last chance to have a kid play football. You'd be like, well, the kid said he didn't want to play. He said he's going to quit. Got to be aware of the situations. Accountability, no secrets. Let's see what's going on, right? Coaching, man, coach players up. That's another thing too. Teams that lose all the time. This is what it comes down to, like most football teams. Any given Sunday, a team can beat a team, right? But when it comes to like youth football and high school football, when it's not a like college and professional type situation, a real football situation, which is high school or lower, when it's just a, it's kind of random situation. I mean, you don't control how many players you have. That's my point. One school, like there was a game this last week. One school had like 25 players and or about 35 players. No, wait, one team had about 30, 35 players. The other team had about 20, 25 players. Theoretically, the team with the most players are going to win because they have more better players. Because it's just a random, fishbowl of players. I'm going to take 10 players. I got 10, 2 good ones. I'm going to go on 10 more players. I got 2 more good ones, and 30 players. You get more players. The better opportunity to have a better player. That's just odds, right? So, but I've coached teams where I've only had 12, 14 players going against 30 guys. So I have to game plan. I don't have enough guys that really field both sides, and second half they're going to get tired, so I have to manipulate how I run the ball and do everything because they have to make it through the game. There was last weekend, the team that had the least amount of players at halftime, they were crushing the team that had 10, 15 more players because they were way better coached. The coach had a better plan, scheme better. Even with less players and less better players, they were able to pretty much dominate the other team. But then in the second half, their players got a little tired, started to fumble, not able to chase people around the field, and they ended up losing in the second half. But in the first half, they dominated because they were well coached. And when it comes to coaching, that's when it comes down. You should be able to win a couple games. Obviously, the better team is going to win. Sometimes you get out coached. It happens. Sometimes you are the better coach, but the other person makes a better decision and got you at that moment. It's an NFL type situation a lot of times. They got us. It goes back and forth. Sometimes one coach wins every time because they got that person's number. But as a coach, over a multi-year period, you should be able to figure out a couple games and be able to win. But if you keep doing the same thing and over again and you're not figuring it out, you know what I mean? What are you gonna do? You gotta make some coaching changes. So yeah, it's crazy. I watch a lot of football, and I've been involved in a lot of football, and I've seen a lot of coaches, lots and lots of coaches. Pretty much, like I've done before. Most every player I've put in the position from kindergarten to 6th grade play that position now in high school, or do not play the position that I said they shouldn't play in. The kid that I started a conversation with, his dad was trying to force him at quarterback. He played quarterback up until about 4th or 5th grade maybe, and then when he got to 7th grade, he was a running back and linebacker, pretty good one, and then played that all the way through high school, and halfway decent one. No, pretty good one. Very aggressive. At first he wouldn't want to hit, and then he really got into it where he was just like aggressive, really aggressive. But anyways, yeah, he played running back and linebacker, just like I said he would. That's what he didn't want to play quarterback. His dad wanted to play quarterback. He wanted to run the ball. So that's the way it was. So like I said, if kids want to play a position, I give everybody opportunity. Especially that's my thing too. The offense I run, if you check it out online, I always brag. I had 19 kids run the ball throughout the season and had 15 kids score touchdowns. Of those 19 kids, or of the 15 kids scoring touchdowns, none of them were my son. So in a whole season, I let 19 kids run the ball. I think we had like 4 kids play quarterback throughout the season. And then 15 kids scored a touchdown, and there wasn't a time where I told my kid, hey, go ahead and score a touchdown. I let the other kid score a touchdown. Because my kid was handing the ball off to him most of the time. There was times he played fullback or, running back in certain positions to give other people a shot, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, So do the best we can. But yeah, coaching is bad. And also, like, high school coach is weird, and even like in junior high, there's a very lack of accountability of the school tied to the coaches. They're very hands-off. There should be a lot of transparency. There should be administration at these practices very often, just hanging out, watching how they act. We saw a situation the other day where the coach was not doing anything wrong. He's coaching, being a football coach. Hey, run, do your stuff. What are you doing? Stop being lazy. Why are you always late? And the kid started crying, and went and told the school on the coach, and the coach had to apologize. Like, the kid's late and lazy every day. We're trying to hold him accountable, and then he cries for being held accountable. The coach had to apologize to the team, and then the kid had to apologize too, but the kid's apology was like, even when the coaches are wrong, we got to do what they say. Like, man, bitch, did you say that? If I had somebody at work and I need them to apologize, be like, yeah, even if Reuben's wrong, we got to do what he says, okay? I'd be like, did you just say that? I'm gonna grab you, my coworker. I was like, no, now you're fired. You're fired. We gave you an option to do an apology, but you did some kind of backhanded, passive-aggressive comment. Gone. And that goes back to respect coaches and opponents on the field. We had a same kid, I think he was cussing at officials. There was a game you can see on video. The official grabs a player and says, get off my field. And the coach never held that player accountable. There's a long list of it. Just keeps on going. And I always say this on video. Every parent has this on video. It's all out there. Bad coaches. Accountability is a hard thing to have. But I thrive on trying to be accountable. I always say too, like typically at work, there's a couple things in life that people like. Let's say drink a beer. Okay, I don't really drink beer. I mean, let's have a beer. I need a beer. If you went out drinking, you're not gonna be like, yeah, son, I drank 17 beers. I don't think I drank 17 beers. But anyways, you're like, I had a couple beers. You know what I mean? But I always say, if you can't tell your kids about it, maybe you shouldn't do it. If there's behavior that you do outside of whatever you're doing, if you can't tell your kids about it, then maybe you're doing it wrong. At work, coaching, as administrator, whatever it is in life. If there's something you have to keep secret and you can't be transparent and honest, maybe there's something that you're doing wrong. And if that is true, you gotta understand, eventually accountability is going to catch up with you. Even if it's Jesus Christ, our almighty Savior, I'm atheist. Or rules and regulations. I don't know. So, yeah. But like, let me see, I want to talk about my car? Personal relationships, family man, vagina ping pongs. Yeah, I don't know. I could stop talking about football for a little while. But yeah, accountability. That's what it comes down to. Instead, I think all coaches would agree that the leader of the team needs to show up early, on time. They always say sometimes too, especially like a quarterback, you got to do extra practices on your own. Call the receivers up and get those people to be accountable. But the coaches need to hold the other kids accountable too, to the part of the team. You can't just be like, hey, hope you do your part. And then, anyways, yeah. So you want the guy to be a hardworking kid every time in practice, running fast, back and forth. Not being last, not being lazy, not being yelled at, being a positive leader, helping out people, not complaining. I seen a kid one time, they were winning, but he was crying because he didn't get the ball enough. It's like, what do you think the tackle's thinking? The tackle didn't get the ball at all. He never gets the ball, win or lose. So, and the coaches, the coach was like, okay, I understand you're crying. And they put him in a position to try to score a touchdown all by himself, and it didn't happen. But man, it is a crazy world out there. Let's see what we got here. Jeep Cherokee. I got a car. It's a Jeep Cherokee, Jeep Grand Cherokee, 2017. They are terrible cars. Never buy a Jeep Cherokee. Engine gasket blew. Got to get the headers milled down and the block milled down because it's got a warp in it. All new gaskets. They didn't have them for a while. We went to the auto shop and I said, hey, we can work on it. We can't find, there's no gaskets in the world. And they're like, what? Like, yeah, we don't have the parts, so we're just going to send your car home. What do you mean? Like, yeah, car's broken, no parts, bye. Like, okay, so we left and took the car home. And they recommend call a dealership. Call dealership, like, yep, we don't got a part either. Peace out, homie. Dealership said, what? Dealership ain't going to help us on the car part? You're not going to tell them. I know some people, I call around, and they got the inside, like, yeah, I got the part for you. I'm like, sweet, boom. Contact a couple people, got that part for the person, take it to the dealership, or not to the dealership, I take it to someone else, put the part in, and $6,000. Yeah, this Jeep Grand Cherokee 2017 is a piece of shit, and it's going to cost an extra $6,000 for the motor. Don't go buy those vehicles. It's crazy when I hear people talk about electric cars and gas cars. You know, the electric cars are going to catch them. Gas cars catch on fire. Gas cars don't work. Everybody, number one reason this work, car didn't start. Like, it's always that. I mean, like, I say it all the time, like, I think the government shouldn't give it, I want healthcare, but like one thing we should help people out with services, if everybody got a vehicle that ran, right, and dental. So from like graduate high school until you're 30, they're going to give you a car. It's your car, maintenance free, you know, take care of it so it runs until you're 30. So you can get to college, school, whatever you need to get. Just a basic car. You know, your government, you know, electric car now, or gas car, whatever it is. I mean, and then a dental, so you don't have to worry about tooth pain or heart attacks or anything else. There's a lot of women out there. See, okay teeth, but that are beautiful but terrible smiles, terrible teeth. And if you got them dental, they probably date up instead of dating down, because they're always like this, because they don't want to smile. Yeah, man. But yeah, drank, and then CarMax. Don't buy a car from CarMax. We got the Grand Cherokee. It says all-wheel drive. No, the only thing is all-wheel drive? The sticker. It's not even for the car. They just put a sticker on there. And like, the paperwork in the car don't even match up. It's the right VIN number, but it ain't the same shit. It's like, it says like a four-wheel drive. It ain't a four-wheel drive. It's a basic vehicle. It barely runs. Piece of shit. Day one. Then I had 2 batteries too. It had like a battery in the front and a battery in the middle somewhere. What the fuck? I mean, Grand Cherokee piece of crap. CarMax. Don't go buy your crap. Every time someone buys a car from CarMax, there's always some kind of situation. Doesn't seem like it ever works out. I mean, it's like they were just buying and selling as fast as possible. I heard they have a bunch of cars that got repoed already. But man, sometimes those people just want to go over to like Grand Cherokee and shoot a vagina ping pong ball at their face or something. Man. Well, I don't know. What else I got here? Farting on airplanes. Covered all that stuff, huh? I don't know. I think it's another great episode of this Line in the Truth here. I think I've said enough to come close to wrapping all this stuff.
Life moves pretty fast. Life moves pretty fast.
So like I said,
life moves pretty fast. Life moves pretty fast. Life moves pretty
subscribe.
fast. Life moves pretty fast.
Check it out.
Life moves pretty fast. Life moves pretty fast. Life moves pretty fast. Life moves pretty fast.
Life moves pretty fast. Gotta move this dirty cash. Gonna flick this cookie's ash. Gonna watch you shake that ass. And I know I seem crass when I say it won't last, but as I go on past, you know,
life moves pretty fast.
I'll keep on going. Don't let life pass me by. I'm gonna keep myself grounded, but I'm still getting high. And the life that I'm making, no dreams are forsaken. It's